G'day Weapons. Before we get started, a quick shout out to WA's premier regional running event, the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival. Famous for its beautiful, flat and fast course, the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival offers Indian Ocean views up Ocean Drive, dolphin spotting in Koombana Bay, fast racing around Big Swamp, and the challenge of the infamous Bunbury Lighthouse, or as we like to call it, the Checkered Bastard. With distances from 5k to the marathon, it's the perfect event for everyone, whether you're a beginner looking for a friendly introduction to road racing or a seasoned runner chasing that elusive personal best. With personalised drink stations, on-course entertainment, and a finish line vibe that captures everything great about the regional WA running community, the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival delivers an experience you'll remember long after your legs stop aching. So lace up, set your sights south, and make Bunbury your next race destination in April 2026. Find out more and enter now at runbunbury.com.au. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 001 of The Road to the Checkered Bastard, the latest Warp training series following the 2026 Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival coming up in a few months' time on the 12th of April. Long-time listeners may recall our very first training series last year where we followed 4 athletes through their training in the lead up to the previous edition of this fantastic regional running festival we hold close to our hearts. That series did well enough for the team at Bunbury Runners Club to invite us back for 2026 as sponsors of the running festival, to which we're obviously Simon, I and Vicky are very grateful, and it's looking to be a bigger and better event than last year. Just for those listening, the Settlement Box Marathon and the Taliesin Lithium Half Marathon are already sold out. So if you're looking for an entry to those, you will need to sign up to the wait list. But if you email the team at the Bunbury Runners Club if you head to runbunbury.com.au, you'll find ways to enter there. You'll find an email to get on that wait list. There are still spots available in the Koombana Physiotherapy 10K and the RCR Mining Technologies 5K. So for those of you who aren't going to jump on and have missed out, hopefully we can bring you some exciting episodes in the lead up to that in the next few months. Across from my screen is my co-host, known as the Mixmaster General, aka the Master of Ceremonies, aka Perth's favourite punching bag. Simon Pham, how are you?
What's up? I'm good. I am the Mixmaster General of the WA Running Podcast, which means my job is safe along with my actual day job, which is good for my financial income as I'm trying to find a house at the moment. No, I'm good, mate. I can't believe it's been a year since we've done these training series, and in particular the Bunbury Running Festival. So looking forward to the next couple of months as we, preview what is our favourite running festival in the state. It's better than the one that's in the Perth area, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I guess from your history with this running festival, I think I ran this back in 2023 for the first time, and you and I happened to be in the same race, funnily enough, just didn't know each other at the time, but there are photos to prove that we were in the same event, running roughly the same time. What does the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival mean to you?
Good memories for the most part. I mean, I think I reflect on that first marathon where we ran together. I mean, things haven't changed. I mean, you still overtake me, you still kick at the end, you still beat me to the finish line. So, 3 years on, that hasn't changed one bit. But look, I think just the time of the year, it's school holidays. So the timing's perfect. I came down with the family. Miata was, I think, 2 or just before she turned 2. So really nice memories, to be honest, for my daughter to vaguely see dad run and suffer for 3.5 hours. And we've been back every year since. So, looking forward to heading down for the fifth year in a row in some capacity. So, look, I just enjoy the vibe. It's it punches well above its weight in terms of its resourcing. And it's a nice weekend with the family. And, one year we had a trip with mates as well. So whether it's family or with friends, it's a good time generally.
Definitely. Very much looking forward to it. So we're also joined today by a couple of Koombana Physiotherapy's finest practitioners. Koombana Physiotherapy are a local business and long-time sponsor of the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival, the 10K obviously, this year. Returning for the first time since last year's Bunbury training series, a key character in Warp Law and one of WA's finest athletes on the road and the trail, Ash Ritson. Welcome back to the WA Running Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me back after I was a failure on the last training series. But, I think the curse has been broken now. So
I think we had a couple of training series in a row where things didn't go quite right. So we've finally got the monkey off the back. But no, don't think you were a failure at all. I think you did exceptionally well last year. Obviously, you'd be pretty proud of that run that you put together. But I guess following your exploits at Bunbury last year, you joined us at the Transcend last August on Team Warp and put Coach Macca to the sword on leg 3. How was the rest of your 2025 after that?
Yeah, that was Transcend was great. I really enjoyed being, as Crap called me, the random runner that apparently Coach Macca was going to overtake, which we knew that would never happen. And of course it didn't happen. So that was excellent. The rest of 2025, very similar to the first half. It was plagued by illness and inconsistency in training. That lead up to Three Waters last year, I would just get 2 weeks of good training and then someone in the house would go down and with sickness or something like that. Or, I think I had a colonoscopy 3 weeks before the marathon, just all these ridiculous things were happening. And it just kept interrupting that flow and that progression of training. So, and then after the Three Waters, after the marathon, I was just flattened by mastitis, which it's a running related injury that's probably not talked about much on the walk or by people in general. But for those that don't know, it's an infection in the milk ducts in the breast tissue and it is very painful to move. So, there was no running for a few weeks after that, which is crazy because I've had a couple of kids and breastfed through training, through races, never had a problem until for some reason after Three Waters. And then, at the end of last year, so in October, I went over to Queensland to do a 100K race over there. And the week before I went, I got influenza A and then a sinus infection. And so I started the race and I pulled out at about the 45-kilometre mark. I just felt like my head was on fire, I was so hot. So that was my first ever DNF. So I sulked for probably 2 weeks after that. And then I decided to seek some professional help, which I found my saviour. I found Coach Josh Tighe. So he's the head coach at the Herdsman Harriers Athletics Club. And, I've been training under Josh since November.
Awesome. That's great. Obviously relatively new running outfit there. Have you got one of the red and white singlets yet?
It's coming in the mail. It's got to be here before next weekend. You'd think between Perth and Bunbury, you post it one day, you should get it 2 days later, but that's not guaranteed.
It's on the train.
Yeah. So hopefully I'm in it for the marathon down at Busso next weekend.
Yeah, okay. You've mentioned that marathon. So, obviously that's big news, signing up for Busso Bay Run. How has training progressed now that you've been with Josh? And I guess, did you take any reflections from your run in Bunbury last year about how you might approach this race slightly differently?
Yeah, so reflections from Bunbury is I don't have a baby, which I successfully completed this year. But no, it was cool. There's nothing from the race day itself that I would change at Bunbury. I'm quite happy with how the day went. So I'll just try and replicate that again for Busso. So what I ate the days leading up to the race, the race day nutrition, what gels I had that day, the shoes, everything was bang on the day. It was just that 8 weeks leading up to Bunbury that kind of let me down, I guess, on race day, which, yeah, like you said, I was still happy with what I got, but it wasn't the goal that I was sort of going for on the day. So I had 2 goals when I started with Josh, and the first priority was just to get consistent training weeks without getting so run down and so sick, which Josh has absolutely nailed. You know, like he just kind of reins me back in when I'm sick or sore, and then I can just put a bit more effort into sessions, or he'll like modify the sessions. So like I'm basically just paying someone to tell me not to run, which is exactly what I need apparently. And it's working brilliantly. And yeah, the second priority with Josh, it was the training block for Busso Marathon. So that's pretty much just been like 3 1-hour slow runs a week, and I'm doing them at like about 5:15 pace, which again, I've never really tried to run consistently at that like slower speed. So that's been really enjoyable. It was hard to start with, but it's been actually really nice. And then I still do my Wednesday swamp session, which is like solo now, of course, that Shelley's left town. And then that long run, which has had a heap of threshold work in it the last few weeks. So yeah, like the last 4 Saturdays have been huge. But yeah, I feel great at the moment. So yeah, it's really paid off.
Very exciting. Looking forward to it, seeing how you go. Obviously, taper week coming up now. So hopefully you're going to be resting nicely. No one's going to make you sick. And yeah, we can get to the start line in one piece. That'd be awesome.
Are you in terms of race plan, are you going to approach it very similar to Bunbury? I'm trying to remember what you had said last time. Like you were just vibing off feel, right? Like you weren't going to be too obsessed with pace like our mate Perich, but just if you're feeling good, you're going, and if you're feeling a bit stretched, you'll just slow down. Is that kind of your game plan heading to Busso next week?
So apparently I'm having a meeting. I've never had a coach before, and so apparently I'm having a meeting with Josh to discuss race plan, which I'm pretty excited about because, yeah, that's usually my race plan is just vibes. Which is, you know, it works sometimes. But, you know, when you're like 46 seconds away from your goal, like maybe vibes don't cut it every time. So, yeah, we I don't know. I'll let you know.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thanks, Ash. That's good to catch up. Good to see you've got something coming up in the very near future, and yeah, look forward to seeing how that goes. Also joining us, maybe the main character of today's episode, who's recently signed up for her first half marathon at Three Waters, and the central character at Koombana Physio's Instagram reels lately, Alice Luscombe. Welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you in the red and blue headphones tonight. It's if only the listeners could see.
Yeah. Look, the Bluetooth headphones didn't work, so I had to grab my son's, which is in the box ready for year 1 to start on Monday. So I've got his red and blue headphones on. I look very stylish.
Yeah, you're certainly looking better than I do. Did you want to give us a bit of a background, just starting off before we get into your background? Tell us a bit about Koombana Physiotherapy.
Yeah, so Koombana Physio has been around in Bunbury over 30 years as a business. We have 13 physios working at the practice, so we're a big clinic. We've just moved into a brilliant new facility just over a year ago, which has been custom built by Sean, who's our director and spiritual leader, I guess, who also runs. So we have a really busy practice. We have a practice that has a lot of different interests. So Pilates, we do pelvic health, we do off-site physio, we do all sorts of the musculoskeletal aspects. And across our team, we have lots of people who are involved in different sports. So we have a really nice rounded approach, but we're really community-focused, family-friendly, kind of family-run practice. So it's a really lovely place to work. Yep.
Awesome. And I guess, obviously Koombana's physiotherapy has been a part of the running festival for a while now. Like, what does it mean for the business to be involved in, you know, a fairly large community event like the Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival?
In a place like Bunbury, without your community, you don't have a business. So really essential for us to be involved in community events. And this is just one of the ones that we involve ourselves in, but it's a brilliant event. I've done, I think, the 5K before in this, but we're always down there with the massage tent and just being in touch with what's actually going on around in the community. really important, and the business really focuses on that every year.
Yeah, awesome. No, I don't think I've had the opportunity to meet Sean yet, but we have spoken about him both on the podcast and offline. So hopefully we'll get that opportunity come race day, or when I come down to chat with you guys in a couple of weeks' time. But Alice, maybe you could give us a bit of a rundown about yourself, not just running, but like what your background is with physio, with other sports that you might have played, and then how you kind of got into running.
So I've been a physio, Ritto, like 15 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
Ritto and I went to uni together, so we're mates from back in the day. And I've worked in Bunbury my whole career in private musculoskeletal. I am historically definitely not a runner. I'm a water polo player, swimmer. I've played lots of netball, so I've played running sports before, but not a runner by any means. Prior to my training with Ritto, I used to run around the inlet 5Ks once a week with my kids and my husband while the kids rode their bikes and said, "Mum, why are you so sweaty? Mum, why are you so red? Mum, why are you breathing like that? Dad's not breathing like that." So, yeah, that was my sort of background with running prior to now. But I had an injury just over a year ago, which meant I couldn't play contact sport anymore. So I had to kind of switch it up and find something new to challenge myself, and it tied in nicely with what some of the things that the Runners Club was trying to look at. You know, what are the barriers to people like myself going from a 5 or a 10 to a half or a full? And then obviously being mates with Ritto and having her offer to sort of mentor me through the process is really an opportunity I couldn't pass up, I don't think.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ritto's definitely a font of knowledge, so I'm always happy to have a chat with her on a run and talk shop. So what about, like, in terms of you're relatively new to running, like how has your physio background kind of changed the way you approach your running, if at all?
I think I've listened to a couple of your episodes now, and obviously a half marathon is, chump change to a lot of people who appear on the podcast. But for someone like myself, it's an endurance event. It's a big thing to train for. So I certainly am not someone who could raw dog a half marathon. I need a lot of work. So I think from a physio perspective, knowing the importance of a lead-in to something like this and to approach training in the right way as someone who doesn't have much knowledge of it, making sure that you build that training, get the endurance first and then start to add training in, how to manage injuries. And the importance of finding professionals who know what they're doing and utilising them. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess going from running the 5K in the past, what's inspired you then to go to the half marathon as an endurance event? And I guess probably a silly question, but why Bunbury?
So inspiring me to run the half, it's always kind of like been in the back of my mind as a bit of a bucket list item, I think. And then, I guess my hand was a little forced, having something that I used to do so much of, being water polo, sort of taken off the table. And I think it's good. I think adults need to challenge themselves, that we need to be bad at stuff. Like we tell our kids, I have 2 little kids, they're 5 and 7. I tell them all the time that being uncomfortable is okay, and, it's how you handle challenges and all that sort of stuff. So actually doing that, I think is really, it's been a journey already. I'm sure it's going to continue. But, I think it's really important for us to do that too.
Yeah, it certainly as adults, as it's important to take yourself out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you cruise through life and things just fall in your lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think professionally as physios, we have to do that to keep relevant with our training. That's never been a problem for us professionally. But I think sometimes personally, maybe that can sort of fall by the wayside a little bit. And in terms of Bunbury, why Bunbury? It's in my backyard. I don't have to go and organise a hotel night the night before, and I don't have to think about all that sort of thing. I train where I grew up. I train looking at the Checkered Bastard. I grew up looking at that, walking past it on the way to school, looking at it from Bunbury High where I used to go to school. It's a beautiful spot to be. Bunbury's a lovely spot, and it's in your own backyard. It's easy. I've been told it's a relatively flat course. Apart from that one hill. But
Yep. No, couldn't agree more. All right, well, Ash, I'm just going to jump to you quickly. I like Simon and I have talked about, why we like this event, but I guess why do you think that the Three Waters is a good event for first timers, whether they be running the 5, 10, half or full?
Yeah, I think, like the size of the event is perfect. It's like big enough to have like the atmosphere and that sort of thing and to have people around you. But, it's still small enough to not be stuck in massive groups of other runners. You can park near it at the day. Like like I say, it's easy to access that sort of thing as well. There's plenty of toilets at the start line and throughout the course, which is super important. So no, it's a bit of like, it wasn't that long ago you guys were talking about a race where like there wasn't toilets for the first, was it 6Ks or something like that? It was just nuts. Whereas, plenty of toilets down here. The course is awesome for runners and their support crews as well. Like there's so many spots you can see your runner come past a few times if you wanted to. And easy as well for your support crew to access the start and the finish. And if you're like handling 10 kids at the same time as well, like the oval area is perfectly set up for that as well. So it's an easy one for support crew to come to. There's the Rose Hotel afterwards for lunch, which is another massive draw card. And, the event is put on by the Bunbury Runners Club and within that, the Three Waters Committee. So they're all volunteers. So, like your entry fee is going straight back into the event, which is just awesome. It's not some massive organisation or something like that you're supporting.
Yeah, and there's a genuine care about the event and like every aspect of it, from like personalised drink bottles if you're running the marathon. Obviously that support on course, the drink stations, the toilets. But just that start and finish line vibe is, I think something that I haven't seen really anywhere else at a road running festival in WA. So I think that's something that's the club should be really proud of.
And I think like being a WA event too, like you guys come down from Perth, but the amount of people you guys would bump into, like when you're running the Three Waters, it's cool. Like, WA it's a small place and the running community is small as well. So you just see so many people and it makes it so much more enjoyable on the day. And like you said, the people that Runners Club are genuine and there are some very passionate people there. And the marathon has been going on since 82. I hope I get that number right. Something like that, something like 1982. So, they've been doing it for a while. They know what they're doing. And, like you said, you can do your own, if you're running the marathon, you can have your own gels and carbs and drink and everything like that set out at different stations. So, again, like it's small enough that you don't have to be an elite to have your own nutrition out on the course.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, well, so you've stepped into... But from what I understand, looking at the Instagram, you've stepped in to guide Alice through the process toward her first half marathon. Do you want to take us through that approach? And I guess when did the training begin and why did it begin at that point?
All right, so I think this is a good time to confirm that I am not a running coach. I am just want to make sure that that's clear.
Guiding.
Yeah, I'm guiding.
Mentor.
So I'm just here to answer like really important questions, like what shoes look best, what gels do I have, how long should I wait to go to the toilet, just really important things like that you need someone for.
Yeah.
Why guide Alice through her first half marathon? It's going to be brilliant just to watch her suffer. Like we've been friends for a long time. So, so I do have to be careful what I say because Alice and I do go back a long way, and she has a lot of dirt on me. And I think she's got some very incriminating videos of me from our staff Christmas party as well. So I better be nice to her.
Absolutely.
But Alice, like she toned it down before, but Alice has represented Australia in water polo. Like she's a competitive bastard. And I've learnt that back in uni days, like playing mixed netball with her as well, like social mixed netball. She's very competitive.
Yeah.
And once she commits to something, there's just no stopping her. So I knew once she's on board, like that was just 150% she was going to be there for it. But guiding and encouraging and supervising her training. It started pretty much after the Women's Fun Run, which is another awesome event that the Bunbury Runners Club put on every October. And basically from then the goal was just, it's all been very simple. I just said like, just run 3 times a week, do 2 half-hour runs and do 1 hour run, and just get used to that consistency of running, and just get everyone in your house used to, like, this is when mum is going for her run and nobody interrupts that. So yeah, that was kind of the start of the supervision of her training.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So I'm going to ask you a question, Alice, just quickly. So in terms of that process of saying, hey, mum's going for a run now, like it's time to get out, are you running on a treadmill, or are you generally running outside? Are you getting out of the house?
No, outside mostly. I've done one treadmill one on when it was just, I think it was still like 37 degrees at 6 o'clock. So I'm not doing that outside. But all road running. I think as Ritto sort of said, as much as possible, try and do that. Obviously, if the treadmill, if you need it, you need it. But trying to avoid that and get on the road when I can. Yep.
Yeah, nice. And obviously downplaying your ability at water polo is kind of in keeping with some of the people we've had on this podcast. People tend to either be sandbagging or downplaying their achievements. So thanks for keeping that one quiet.
Oh, look, it's Australian country. It's I'm not playing on the Olympics, but yeah, no, I played water polo a lot since I was about I think 12. So it's been a big part of my life.
Yeah, no.
But I've taken on a coaching role with that now, so I'm finding great reward in teaching kids how to build their skills, which is awesome.
Yeah, cool. So I guess obviously you both got the background, so you kind of probably both know the answers. But so running 2 half-hour runs, 1 hour run a week, is there any strength training in there to kind of supplement or prepare you for that longer endurance stuff as well?
Yes, so the schedule says 2 strength sessions a week, and they are that's all sort of been documented on Instagram as well. So we've had a few patients who've been kind of jumping on with it as well.
Cool.
But yeah, just some lower body sort of strength work, and I try and sort of fit a Pilates session in there somewhere. I'm big passion for Pilates. I take a lot of classes a week, but I think everybody should do it. So I try and sort of squeeze one of those sessions in there as well. But the strength stuff definitely, as well as the running.
Yeah, nice. And how has your body adapted to that load from maybe running once a week around the bay for 5 kilometres to now running 3 times a week, couple of strength sessions, Pilates? Has there been an adjustment period? How's it felt?
Well, I think now I've been doing it for about 3 months now. So I think the way that Ritto sort of advised me to start it was, it's not about pace and time, it's about time. So getting the legs moving, getting the time. So just finding the time, once I sort of found the slots throughout my week that I could do that. It went well. I think it was a really good start to the journey. I think it was achievable. And it took me a couple of weeks, but I really enjoy it now. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are new to running don't realise that you don't actually have to go and flog yourself until you're in the ground. You can actually do this sustainably and end up quite happy at the end of it. Ash, were you, through this guiding role that you're taking, were you looking for any kind of targets or kind of markers for Alice to hit through getting through those first few weeks of adjusting to those that training regime?
Yeah, look, I didn't really think about it at the time. Like I said, I'm not a coach. So, just like what Alice said, keep it achievable. I think, you're taking on something so new and, it doesn't sound like much, but finding 2 hours in your week can sometimes be a stretch. Or, add in a couple of strength and Pilates sessions. That's, a good 5 hours. Keeping it achievable at the start there. And like Alice said, not worrying about the pace, just tick them off. And once, Alice cruised through that till the end of December. And then January, I was like, okay, so when January comes around, that's when we're going to start working on your intervals. And that's when we're going to push out your long runs. And that's when you're going to do the 10K race on Australia Day, which, we've started some of that. We had a little hiccup there, which Alice can go through later on. But yeah, it was just keep it achievable at the start. There's no point in flogging yourself and then just ending up in a hole. I've learned that through experience. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, sure.
Have you, I guess through this process, have you reflected on your own running journey and your first half marathon and how you approached it at the time? any obvious mistakes or learnings that you sort of imparted on Alice?
Yeah, it's interesting because, even though I've been running forever, I don't know how old I was when I did my first half, like in my early 20s, I guess. But after each baby, so I've had 2 kids, and after each of them, I feel like I'm just starting from scratch again. Like it's probably a more condensed period of time that I'm adjusting to it. But, I still went through it both times. I went through that. 20 minutes of running was just so hard, and I'd be running 6-minute Ks, and I'd just be thinking like, how is this ever going to get any better? And eventually, a couple of weeks later, you do your 5K warm up, and like, oh, okay, like I did get there eventually. So yeah, it's been awesome watching Alice. Like when she did her 10K race the other week, it's like she wasn't even phased the fact that she was doing 10Ks, whereas initially when you start running, you think like 10 kilometers, like how is that achievable? So yeah, I feel like I can really relate to Alice as well, like what she's gone through after having to go through something similar, like say like having the long term like running in my legs, I guess, has helped me like go through it a lot faster. But I know how to burn yourself out with running, so I really don't want that to happen to Alice either.
No, of course not. I think everybody can relate, Alice. I don't think you're saying that we've had people on the podcast that run 600 kilometers or whatever. Like, I think everybody remembers what that early phase of their running journey is like, and 10 kilometers is a big deal the first time you run 10 kilometers, right? It's a massive milestone, so I wouldn't play it down. Now, one of the aspects of running that people probably don't tell you about is that although people say it's a cheap sport, or you think it's a cheap sport going into it because you don't have to have any registration fees, etc. But you end up spending all your money on shoes and clothes. Have you got a rotation? Has Ritto given you a few tips on which shoes to jump on and a speed day shoe, blah blah blah?
Yeah, look, I wasn't aware of how many pairs of shoes I was supposed to own when I signed up for this, but I now have 4 pairs of running shoes. I'm very lucky though as well. The Athlete's Foot in Bunbury have come on board and sponsored sort of my journey, and they're a long-time supporter of the Three Waters event as well. So they've been kind enough to help me out with some shoes and some advice as well about what I should be wearing. But yeah, I wasn't aware of all the shoes, but now I'm fully in it. I'm fully immersed. I love footwear. I used to work at Rebel Sport when I was back in uni days, so I think I hooked up Ritto with a pair of Asics Nimbus one time with my staff discount. I probably wasn't supposed to. But yes, no, and my Lululemon account has definitely been under the pump as well. My husband's like, another person? Okay. Yep, he's lucky, he's very supportive. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like that Lululemon gear is top notch. I'm a massive fan myself. So, I've got the same problem. Take us through your running your shoe rotation. Then, like, people love hearing about what shoes people are running in. What do you got at the moment?
Oh, look, so I historically have worn a Brooks Adrenaline runner, which because I have our uni professor told me once that my footprints looked like I'd slapped a bit of steak on a bit of Brooks paper. They're very flat arch feet, wide feet. Good for flippers, good for swimming, good for water polo. So I've still got my Adrenalines; they're still good. And then I've got some Hokas as well. I love the floaty feel of a Hoka. Like it's really like nice, but it's a little bit wide in some parts of the foot that I'm not used to. So that took a little bit of getting used to, but I like those for the shorter runs. And my, what's the other pair? Is another pair of Asics. Look, I can't remember what they are, but like just a mid-stability runner.
Cool.
For the shorter ones. And then I like for the longer ones, I've got the Kayanos at the moment, which suit my feet beautifully. And I've had zero problems with those. And that was Athlete's Foot hooked me up with the fanciest new colour. Usually I'm buying off the 50% off rack, but I did not. I got the nice one. But yeah, I wore them for the 10K, the Aussie Day 10K down here, and felt great. Yeah.
Awesome. Simon's got big flipper feet too, so he's got.
Yeah. I feel ya. I'm like 5'7" and I'm a size 11 2E. So it's
right.
Some clown shit going on with my feet.
How's your swimming?
Not good.
Like
He's a shocker. Yeah, no. Simon had some severe anxiety about the second leg of Transcend last year, where there's a river crossing, and in the weeks leading up to that race, we had torrential rains. And so the river was more or less like chest deep. Fortunately for Simon, they diverted the course, and so he didn't have to cross. Otherwise, there might have been a Simon Pham somewhere down the Avon River.
And a memoriam for Transcend.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So I guess one of the things that Ash mentioned at the top was fueling. And I guess, have you started to experiment with the fueling side of running? Like, are you having a snack before you go out for your easy runs, or if you're starting to get into those longer runs, like, have you been trying gels? Is this something you can keep down? Everybody, the first time they have a gel, something doesn't agree with them at some point. Have you had those experiences?
I'll answer this in a couple of parts. So prior to when I wasn't doing any running with Ritto, I would smash a coffee, go for a 5K. No problems, no question about that. And then as I started to run more and then run longer, I realised that perhaps this wasn't going to be the way that it was going to look forever. Before runs, I try and sort of have like a half a banana, a bit of toast with some honey on it, something like that, just something to have in my stomach. And I had some issues when I was running some 10, and Ritto said I should have a jump on and listen to your podcast that you did with Gabby Villa. So I listened to that, and that was really helpful. So I sort of carbonated drinks. I used to drink a fair bit of Diet Coke. That is obviously not helpful. So I've, curbed my caffeine intake with coffee and with the caffeinated drinks. And now I have to think about what I'm eating the night before, which has never been something that I think about before I go for a run.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference. So that's been an interesting journey and something I didn't know much about before. And in terms of gels, I haven't started yet. I've got an 80-minute run this weekend. So I guess that's going to be my first foray into that. And Ritto's advice, and I think it's pretty sound. I haven't done it yet, but you just got to practice with what you're going to try and use. It's going to be, like you said, everybody's different. So it's going to be a matter of, finding out what works. I've got a few gels that were given to me for my birthday at the end of the last year. So I'm like, running socks and gels, real nice. Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess maybe I'll keep you posted on that. But, definitely. But I really enjoyed the podcast with Gabby. I think that was really interesting. And that helped me in a couple of things to think about. Yeah.
I think the fueling and the eating and all that sort of thing, even for some of us that have been running for a long time, we still stuff it up every now and then. It's almost like a little reminder, like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, I usually try and run at like 4 or 4:30 in the mornings for a lot of my runs. And I got up, ate breakfast at 4, was out the door at 4:20, and it was for my long run. And obviously I couldn't stomach anything, gut pain, all this sort of thing. And I was like, how stupid. Like, I know this is going to happen. Like, you don't eat and then run 20 minutes later. So you still learn, even like after you've been running for a long time. But I think, the fueling is so important too. And it's probably one of those things that can make such a big difference to how much you enjoy your run. It'd be interesting to see how Alice goes, I reckon, when she does start using some gels and that sort of thing during her runs. Because from personal experience, I ran for a long time, like through ultras and that sort of thing as well. And reflecting on it now, completely underfueled in a lot of them. And then all of a sudden, when you start using it and when you start using it properly, it's like, this should be banned, because it makes such a difference when you're racing. Like, it just gives you this amazing boost. And it's not just psychological. Like, there is a huge psychological component to it, but it actually does improve your efficiency of running. So, I think it'd be really interesting to see how Alice goes when she starts trialing some gels. But it's just practicing it. You have to just do it a lot of times to work out what's going to work for you, and just, the complexity of what's in a gel, like how many carbs are in that one, what is it actually made up of, like what type of glucose source are you actually getting from that particular one, because, I know that ones with fructose in it just don't work well for me. So they go in the bin. Yep. It'd be good to watch.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see these kinds of things unfold.
Is your long run route near your home, just in case?
No, it's in town. It's near my parents' house.
Yeah. Just saying.
Run past Ritto's house.
Yeah.
We've got a friend, Simon and I have a friend who goes out for an hour run quite regularly around his house. But you'll know that something's gone wrong when, there's like a 4-kilometre run logged on Strava, and then there's like a 13-kilometre treadmill run afterwards because he's had to go home and sort himself out.
Yeah. Look, I'm a bit nervous about this aspect of things, guys. But, and there was a bit of chat on that podcast with Gabby too. I'm a bit nervous, but we'll see how we go.
I mean, it's better now than race day, so
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, some of us bring these things on ourselves. So, like, I've got a terrible history with eating ice cream and other garbage before races, and often find myself in a toilet somewhere halfway through a race. So I can. There's only one person to blame, and that's myself. So, but
have you tried the sorbet? That was the suggestion from.
It was the sorbet. Yeah, I do like a sorbet, but there's something about that cream that just really, really hits different. So, yeah. I'll continue to work on that, I think. But so yeah, as you alluded to a little while ago, started intervals in the new year after having done easy running, building a bit of a base, but have had a bit of a setback. Alice, do you want to take us through what's happened there and what was your immediate response, psychologically? How were you processing that at the time?
So I was feeling good. I was all sort of set up, doing my training as per Ritto's instructions, and I had my first interval session given to me. I was a bit excited to run a little bit faster because prior to all this, I had one pace. It's walk or run. That's it.
Yep.
But I spent all day running a lemonade stand with my kids. So I was on my feet in sort of like a forward flex position in the heat all day. And then I got home and I was like, I have to go for my run. So it's mum's time. So about a kilometre into my warm-up, I went, that hamstring feels a bit niggly, feels a little bit crampy. So I kept going and I sort of got into, I did a couple of the intervals, and then I felt, like a pretty instantaneous bang in that mid-hamstring. Not a sensation I'm familiar with personally. I've never done soft tissue before. I've dislocated shoulders, broken fingers, all that sort of stuff, but never soft tissue. I've treated plenty of hamstrings in the practice and also on the side of the footy field. So I thought, oh no, here we go. But then I thought I'll just walk it out and stretch it, not aggressively, just to see how it goes, hoping it was either a cramp or a bit of neural tension. And I hobbled home, and the next day I was on the plinth with Ash having a look at it, and unfortunately not neural tension. It was in fact a bit of a muscle issue, but got straight onto the rehab, and again, having a brilliant physio like Ritto in charge of my rehab, we used the latest evidence-based sort of approach and did some treatment, but also just mostly focused on rehab and how to build that back up again. So I think within a week I was back running in some capacity. The research around that and what effort you can do without actually using too much of your hamstring muscle when you run, but you can still keep that movement, and then rehab exercises that I'm still doing at the moment. That was brilliant. So it was I think about like a 1 to 2 recovery weeks, but
cool.
It wasn't too bad. So now we're back on track, I think.
Awesome. So a relatively low grade like hamstring. Yep. So yeah, I guess obviously every injury is different, but like what does that kind of evidence-based approach look like? Like in terms of some, like maybe people think, you have to have 2 weeks rest, but you're saying you were maybe you have to 4 weeks rest, but you're saying you're back running within 1 to 2 weeks in a way of, I guess, potentially still utilising all the muscles around there. I'm not sure. I'm really talking out of my ass here, so someone's going to have to step in.
Well, from a treatment perspective, you don't want to. Ritto, you want to take this one?
Oh no, you go.
So from an immediate perspective, you want to avoid, again, this is on our Instagram for anyone who's interested, you want to avoid sort of, the massage and the heat and things like that. anti-inflammatories. Actually, you don't want to have any of those as well in the short period of time. You want to actually let the body do its thing. But the evidence is that using the muscle, in the way that is safe to do so, is a pain-free way to do it, is actually really great for it. So, Ritto, maybe you want to...
Yeah, well, I was going to say as well, like in terms of lower limb injuries, like soft tissue injuries, hamstring's probably one of the best ones for a runner to do, because you can still run at low speeds and you're not actually using a lot of the hamstring muscle. Like you don't have to use it until, apart from like endurance events, but, up until like that really 80% of max speed. So you can still run and have time on the legs and still get that conditioning through the calf and through the feet and through the bones and that sort of thing during that early phase of your rehab. So the other great thing about the hamstring is that it responds really well to load. So, even tonight in Pilates, Alice was doing I saw you doing double leg hamstring sliders. I didn't see any single leg ones. Can you not do that?
Yeah, well, it's just sore for my intervals today, I did do my intervals.
Yeah, the hammy, it responds really well to load. So we, got Alice straight away into doing like hammy curls with a TheraBand and her double leg sliders and her asklings as well, which I know she's been practicing because her balance is looking a lot better with that. And then again, this is all on the Instagram reel if anyone wants to go have a look at them, or even just start incorporating them. If you know that you struggle with hammy issues, then start doing them. And then you can progress all of them like with more weight, and then single leg and that sort of thing as well, or adding weight to the askling diver exercise. So it was a weakness that Alice had that highlighted it. But I think that's just like part of the package with running, isn't it? We run and we train and we race, and then we get injured. We see where our weaknesses are, and then we just work on that that weakness for the rest of our life. Because as we age, they just get worse anyway. So,
yeah, it's kind of one of those things you can't have foreseen, right? Because nothing would have presented prior to that as to potentially there being a weakness there. So, I guess, you can only respond to something like that, because often people talk about prehab or whatever, and trying to get ahead of these things. But you were already doing all the stuff you needed to do by the sounds of it. So, unfortunate.
I could definitely have been better. I think I could be better with my strength work and things. I think the injury really sort of maybe highlighted a bit more of the importance of really making sure that I get that done. But I did have, I've got an old hip injury that I had from water polo days that perhaps created a bit of a weakness on that side with the glutes and then maybe the hamstring, but everyone's got things, we've all, no one's body's going to walk in and say, I'm completely, nothing wrong here. Everyone's got something. So it's just about, managing it if it pops up.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess so you're back, you said you're doing intervals again. So I guess has anything changed in how you approach those intervals? Like, are you warming up differently, part of the rehab process, or is there a different approach this time around?
Well, the programming is a little bit different. I don't know if Ritto has comment on why that's sort of, I guess, different to what we initially started with. But I'm probably a bit more conscious about what I do, like the day of that or when I do that. Not that was perhaps what caused it, but it definitely probably wouldn't have helped the situation. So being conscious of where that interval sits in the week and talking with Ritto about the best way to kind of structure that training week, a little bit more conscious of that. I'm a little bit nervous when I do accelerate into those higher speed stuff. And like I said before, I've had one pace. And even now, even today, I was having really, really struggling to regulate, to find the pace that was written down, because I've no concept of what a faster run feels like. And even on Sunday at the 10K, I started off, and I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, I was running in crazy fast rate. What am I doing? I looked at my watch, went, I can't sustain this. Hang on. So my first kilometre pace, it was way too fast, and then I was quite gassed in the last kilometre. I didn't have much left in the tank. So practicing the intervals is going to be interesting, because I'm learning what faster running is.
Yeah, for sure. Simon, go.
Yeah, no, like as someone that's run for a couple of years, you never it's always a learning process, particularly running 10Ks as well, because it's such a hard distance to try and nail in terms of effort. And people talk about 6-7Ks as this marker where everything hurts and it's painful, and it's almost like the beauty of running in a nutshell as well. So how did you go on Sunday? Were you happy with the outcome, and has it motivated you even more in terms of your training?
Yeah, look, I ran a PB, which is not, I mean, it's not hard to run a PB when you've already run a handful of 10Ks in your entire life. I was happy. Yeah. I ran a PB. Look, I was happy. I think picking apart the race, like there's obviously things I could have done differently. And then I really felt it at the 9 kilometre mark. I was like, oh, this is hard. But that finish of the 10K for the Australia Day Fun Run in Bunbury is horrible. There's a lot of U-turns and a lot of, like a hill and all sorts of things. It feels really clunky. So that could have had something to do with it too. But, look, overall, I think race training, I was chatting on the start line. I hadn't got my watch ready. I didn't have my earphones sorted. I was a hot mess. I was running going, oh, my God, better turn my watch on.
Yeah.
So just practicing kind of race stuff, I think. But it was the first time, I was talking about this with my husband before I jumped on here. It was the first time I thought, oh, okay, I'm pretty sure that I can run 21 Ks. Nice. If I can awesome. Do that, if I work and put the work in, it's achievable. So that was a really nice, I guess, milestone in my training to really think, yeah, this will be okay if I keep going in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. And like what obviously the first time running, you got walk mode, run mode. The first time like getting into this where you're starting to go faster than run mode, how did Ritto explain it to you? Like, was there pace guidance, or was it more of a RPE kind of approach?
Yeah, no, she
Ritto's not a coach. I'm still going to say that, but
my mentor, not my coach, she looks at my Strava. I know she stalks it, and she gives me sort of like splits to kind of aim for, so times, because that works well for me. Because RPE, I think for me would be a bit useless until I learn a bit more. But yeah, times was handy. I really like that, so that's what I've been doing. And then obviously I've got my training plan to Google tempo running. What does tempo running? So I've got that now. Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. So yeah, you've obviously done the 10K. Have you got any other races leading up to Three Waters? Like, are you going to come up to Perth for one of the Marathon Club things, or is there anything else down that way?
Well, I didn't get a spot in the Busso Bay Run because that's such a popular event. I had no idea that was such a ripper event. So I don't have anything planned. I guess that's maybe a chat for me and Ritto to have about whether. But I think any more racy sort of like event stuff would be really helpful. I think just in terms of preparing for something like that. But I don't have anything planned at this stage.
Yeah, cool. Ritto, what does the training look like for Alice the next kind of... We've still got a long time until Three Waters. We've got, nearly 3 months. So, 2.5 months. So, yeah, like what does it look like from now? We've had the injury. We've kind of gotten over that to some degree. What does it look like in the next kind of 10 to 12 weeks?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of parts to our training that we're going to kind of focus on. I mean, one of them is just building that endurance capacity, and the only way to do that is to run a bit more. So we're going to aim for like 4 runs a week, 2 of them just being like that half hour or to 45 minutes. We'll see how we go with that kind of recovery sort of time. One of them with that long run, I think to start with, we'll just keep that as an easy run, but just getting Alice a bit more confident and practicing all the fueling and everything that we've just been talking about, and putting that into that long run day. I think Alice will have 80 minutes this weekend. I have to do it Saturday because we've got a party on Saturday night, so you won't be able to run on Sunday. So, yeah, she'll do a good 80 minutes on Saturday, practicing a few of those things. And then we were talking about this earlier, like it's going to be great when Alice can start practicing doing a 90-minute run and then just like pushing it for 20 minutes at the end and really getting herself used to being in that uncomfortable position, and getting that whole psyche and that central governor of getting that to talk to the muscles and tell them like, you can do this, and then she will do it. And then when she comes back and she does it next time, it's going to be easier, and she's going to be able to like push that a little bit harder, or just not feel it like as much of an effort. Same thing like when Alice said how she went with the intervals today. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Next time you do it, you'll be like, oh, that was way easier than last time. And it's not just that physiological adaptation that she's making by increasing the amount of mitochondria. She has no muscles, but she's changing that feed forward message from the brain, like telling herself, this is okay, this is easier, and she's already said it herself, like, yeah, I'm going to do the half marathon. So it's really cool to hear such like positive chat coming out as well.
Yeah, awesome. I was going to touch on that actually, about the kind of headspace side of it, because that's something that's kind of hard to prepare for unless you do put yourself through it. And it sounds like those preparations are in place and they're gonna happen, because there are those dark moments towards the end of a race, or maybe it's in the middle or at the beginning, just depending how things have planned out. But obviously, water polo is a pretty tough sport, Alice. Like, I'm sure you've had a few run-ins with your opponents in the past, but maybe the mental side of water polo might be slightly different to running. How are you with your own self-talk generally, in these kinds of in the training process? Because I think those are the things that people, like you're saying, Ritto, need to learn in order to, or experience in order to kind of get used to.
Yeah, look, I've always been, I guess, pretty positive when it comes to like self-chat and all that stuff. And water polo, like you said, it is very different. It's short, it's fast, it's hard. You don't get a lot of time to think. It's a lot of instinctual stuff. I played the centre forward position as well, so it was very rough, very physical. I'm the person who's grabbing everybody else's bathers, and then trying to score goals while I'm holding onto them, while it makes it look like they're doing something to me.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different, because running is, get you so much time to think, which is very, very different to polo. But I think I'm extremely lucky. I've got Ritto sort of guiding me. She's obviously a brilliant runner, but she's a brilliant physio. She's a great mate. I've got someone who's there all the time, just a text message away, or even just catch her at work in the lunchroom, to kind of help me navigate it all. So I think that it's super valuable having someone like Ritto, who I respect as a physio, as a runner, as an athlete, as a mum, all sorts of things. So having her to help me through it, it really hasn't been tough yet. So I'm sure it's going to have its moments, but I'm very optimistic.
Maybe you're just tougher than most.
I think so.
Look, we've only gone to 10K, so guys, we haven't cracked the 10K mark yet.
So you're fairly confident that you're going to. You say you told your husband you're going to run the half. You're going to make it to the finish. Obviously, a little while out. Was that the goal to begin with, just to finish, or and if it was, like, now that you're confident that you might do it, will you have a goal time in mind? Do you think that will change the goal, or will you still have that as the primary goal for the run?
No, I think the goal is just to finish it for now overall. And obviously, I'll chat to Ritto the lead up. She's shaking her head at me. There'll be
we're going to be taking bets.
Times. That's right. There's going to be some sweepstakes. Yeah.
We've organised this at work already, because originally it was going to be like bets for finishing or not, but like that was already ridiculous because we all knew Alice would finish. So there's definitely going to be bets on for her finishing time. So
will she have to work if she doesn't reach a particular time?
Exactly.
Is that what we're thinking?
Well, Sean's already told me I'm supposed to be in the massage tent when I finish. I was like, I don't think so.
I tried to do that last year. I tried to do, I won't work in the massage tent if I go under 3 hours, because I was, so confident I'd do it. And then bloody 3 hours and 46 seconds later, I have to stand there and bloody massage other people that have been running.
I have to do some on the grass physiotherapy. Everyone has to come down to my level if they want to take it.
Yeah. No, very good, very good. Simon, did you have any more questions before I wrap up. I was going to ask you, Ash, if you have any final pieces of advice, not just for Alice, but like for people listening, it might be their first time. Maybe they've signed up for Three Waters at any distance. Is there any pieces of advice or wisdom that you want to pass on to anyone listening?
Oh, advice and wisdom. I'm just full of it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, if you haven't signed up for the half or the full marathon, like, you're too late. It's sold out, and it'll sell out again next year. So, like, get your shit together and sign up for 2027 when it opens at the end of this year, or sign up for the 5 or the 10 kilometers. Like, if that's your goal, then that's awesome. Like, make that your goal. Commit to something. Or just come down, experience the day, whether you're running or not. You get to see athletes like Alice, and she will finish. But yeah, we'll keep you updated on who wins the cash prize on the betting syndicate. But yeah, I mean, like, for those that are running, it's going to be such a good day, and like, the hard work now. And these next few months, it'll pay off, and it'll be worth all those early mornings and the late nights and just that time that you dedicate towards this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone on the course, and just seeing everyone cross the finish line. Like, I get so much motivation and so much joy out of seeing other people running and finishing these sorts of things. Like, even my sister-in-law, like, and she's in the same boat as Alice. She's never done anything like this before. And it's been really cool watching her. Like, she was out there doing the 10K on Australia Day as well. And yeah, she signed up for the half. So yeah, I get a lot of motivation by seeing, especially other women, completing these sorts of things, because men, like, road running is just, like, dominated by men. I don't know what it is, like, why women don't want to do it. I don't understand why women don't want to run. But yeah, it's just so it's really cool to see lots of other women out there, and we've got at least 2 women on the pacing group as well, which is really cool to see as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that pacing group, so yeah, you're doing the 3:30 bus. If I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
That's very exciting. But we've got Vicky doing the 4:30 with Brian, which is cool. So yeah, we've got a couple of women on this pace group, which we were desperately needing a few weeks ago. So thanks for stepping up, guys. Thanks so much. I really appreciate both your time. It's been really great hearing about you, Alice, and hearing all about your story and meeting you and yeah. Looking forward to following the Instagram. I mean, if anyone wants to, please go on to the Koombana Physio Instagram and follow along. Are you going to have those sweepstakes on the Instagram too that the followers can get along with?
Absolutely, they'll be up. I've just remembered a little nugget from back in the day. Ritto and I used to actually live together back before we met our husbands and had our children and all sorts of things.
Here we go.
And I said to Ritto, I'm not built to run. I'm not a runner. And the look that she gave me could have melted paint off something. She's disgusted. So everybody can run, Alice. Everybody can run. And I think she's right. Like, it doesn't matter if you're running to the light pole or a 5K or a half or whatever. Everyone can give it a crack. So yeah, that stuck with me. I've never forgot that. So sometimes when I'm thinking about it, when I'm halfway around the inlet, Ritto said I can do it. Yep, I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point. I mean, that's something that we've had a lot of guests raise, actually, and particularly female guests is say, they often hear people say, you don't look like a runner or something like that. And I think that's a really important thing for people to shed, because runners look like all different kinds of things. It doesn't have to be any particular shape or whatever. So, super important that people the running community is super inclusive. So it's small. Yes, it can be a little bit funny at times, but everybody's keen to see people do well in their running journey. So that's awesome to hear that Ritto was passing out those nuggets of wisdom back in the day.
And the running community has been nothing but supportive. I've had sort of wonderful experiences so far. So this being one of them. So thanks,
fab.
guys.
No, awesome. All right, for the listeners, this is obviously the wrap up for the week, but if you want to head to runbunbury.com.au, you can find out ways to enter the various distances there, and if you're feeling lucky, you can try to jump on the wait list. You can obviously get in touch with us at WA Running Pod. Our email is warunningpodcast@gmail.com, and our Strava group is Warp. Ash, all the best for Busso next week. So excited for you, mate. Simon and I think we were hoping we'd get down there, to maybe follow along and do some interviews. But I think Smithy's going to do some post race ASMR stuff for us. So,
Great. Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you.
Many words of wisdom then. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll make sure he gets in touch with you. Alice, look, hope for the next few months of training go really well. No more setbacks, fingers crossed, and we'll see you on the start line 12th of April. Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, folks, for joining us on episode 001 of the Road to the Checkered Bastard. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya. Bye. What do you reckon, Ritto? 256 next week?
I've got to check with the boss. I need to ask Josh. No more vibes.
No more vibes.
No more vibes. 257.10.
I just call Josh during the race. Check.
257.10, I reckon.